Greetings, everyone. Greetings and welcome. My name is Slayheim, and today we have Satior420 on. I'm really excited to talk to Satior. Incredible presentation, incredible voice, excellent mustache, and amazing guides, amazing stream. So, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for
I'm
coming
doing
on.
great. Doing great. Thank you so much. How are you today?
Doing good, doing good. All right, so for people who don't know you yet, who are you? How did you get into MMOs? What was your first MMO, and kind of what hooked you for the genre?
Yeah. As you said, I'm Satior420. Been gaming for 35 years plus now. My
Wow.
first MMO was actually a MUD. It was Dragon Realms on AOL, all the way back there. It was just text based. It was amazing though. You'd walk into a room, you have to read all of it, and you're looking for clues in there, right? The world just felt alive. People gathered in town squares so that way they can go out and do hunts. If you just wanted to go on a boat ride, you were gathering someone else, so you had someone to talk to. But my first MMO was really Shadowbane,
Wow.
and Shadowbane was it, the politics, the guild wars, everything. That's what really hooked me was Shadowbane.
Okay, awesome. That's amazing. That's definitely before my time.
Yeah.
EverQuest was my first one, and that's kind of my baseline for everything. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting. We'll get into the mud stuff later, but that's amazing. Do you have like a class that you normally play in MMOs? Are you like a tank, a healer? But
Yeah, always a healer.
oh,
I feel
okay,
like without the healer, the party can't really do much. I know there's some MMOs where you'll just load up on DPS and tell the healer not to come, but I always feel like they're an integral part of every party. The tank can only take so many hits as much as they're getting healed. Same when a DPS pulls the aggro or something, they have to get that spot heal real fast. So you're an integral part. You're always in the party. You're going to be needed. So it's a fun thing to do. Definitely love healing.
okay, that's awesome. I dabble in healing as well, so that's really interesting. And so yeah, the thing you're known for is the MMO like Sunday specials that you do. How did that become a thing for you? And is there anything special about Sundays for you in general?
Um, So Sunday is kind of like the anchor day, right? It's the beginning of a new week or the end of the last week. So you're not usually too tired from working the work week. And it's easier to get, hey, everyone, we're going to meet on Sunday. And I just said that. Hey, we're going to meet a Sunday at 8. Can you meet a Sunday at 8? Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, we're going to do this
That's
every
awesome.
week.
That's
And it
awesome.
just kind of became our ritual. So
And
that's where it really came from.
do you have a like a static group that you run with, a group of guys that you normally play with?
So now, yeah, we definitely do. In the beginning, it was kind of rotating. You may have one guy one week, one guy the next week. But as we started to keep doing it and show that consistency, the same 4 to 5 people have come, and we've even added to that. Playing the different games, just asking them party for someone to come. They
That's
group up
awesome.
with you for the day. They're like, "This was fun. You do this? Yeah, every Sunday, 8 to 12." You know what I
Okay,
mean? Maybe a
cool.
little late, and they're like, "I'll be here." And then they join the Discord, and they're there. You know what I mean? They're part of the group now.
Yeah. I love that. Consistency is very important, and that's something for me as a fledgling streamer, I guess. My thing is, I turn on the stream. I love organic interactions. Whatever happens, happens. And I've always been, one of the things I talk about is like, so I played a lot of EverQuest and a lot of these games, but this was like before voice chat and before we were able to keep up with each other outside of games. So I kind of lost touch with a lot of people. And one of my things is I just turn on the stream. Whatever happens, happens. I love organic interactions, but I've kind of been fortunate to kind of find people from chat to play with because I don't have a static group going into this. And that kind of worries me because I'm leaning more towards Rogue. I haven't like nailed down exactly what I want to play yet in Monsters and Memories, but let's dive into Monsters and Memories because that's like the
Yeah.
the biggest thing here and that most people are excited about. So how did you find out about Monsters and Memories and what kind of grabbed you? What grabbed your attention with that game? Is that going to be your main game going forward this year?
It's funny you say that. Anytime Monsters and Memories drops a playtest or a stress test or anything, I drop everything. Like, hey, can't this that whatever the streams are scheduled, they become Monsters and Memories streams. The whole day that I have off of work, I'm playing Monsters and Memories. I actually found the game way back when my friend brought it up when the characters were just like capsules on the screen. A loving robot was talking about it and was watching them, and you could just see that it was a different project. Everybody was volunteer,
Yeah.
so it was like, okay, this is an indie project that I want to play.
Hmm.
And the first time that we were doing like the first stress test, the very first like open up for everything, I remember we couldn't even like move around. So we all just made archers so we could sit around a campfire and still play. And we realized like you couldn't even move because of the lag, but we were still playing. It was 8 hours later. And through the lag, we were still playing and having fun, laughing that we knew that we were kind of hooked on this game. That was it. Like, right into the vein.
Man, that's amazing. So already from the beginning, you could see something special. That's
Mhm.
amazing. I actually, so I was following it for a while. I lo A Loving Robot is an amazing guy, and so I'm a huge EverQuest nerd. And my buddy Kazrax told me about Project 1999. So I was playing a lot of EverQuest, and I was wondering, like, is there any other is there any like former EverQuest developers or any kind of guys streaming or like doing anything? Then I found out there's this whole community of people, and so I was watching like the early days of A Loving Robot, how one of my favorite things about this game is that it was started basically on Twitch about discussions of what like a MMO with this design philosophy will be, kind of like the good old days, and then they conceptualized this game, and I was following it for a while, but I didn't get into the playtests like you did, like right in the beginning when it was capsules. I waited a little bit, and actually I showed my wife the game. I just threw her into a playtest. She's never played MMOs, and I was really excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be like EverQuest, and it was one of the clunkier playtests. So she absolutely hated it, and one of the videos on my channel was like, yeah, I like it, but there was kind of laggy and stuff. And A Loving Robot was super nice. He commented, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's." But anyway, no, that's awesome.
It's,
So so
it's
so
getting
you
better. You can see the improvements.
that's one of
Yeah,
the
from
things I
that video, that's what you need to do. Take that video and put the new video. Just
exactly
show people how it changed
exactly
because it has grown.
yeah.
And remember, it's all volunteers. That's the most amazing part.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that. They haven't accepted any money for the game yet. They're not selling
Correct.
anything. They're not trying to push anything, and I love that so much. Yeah, so I really believe in the team. I believe in the mission.
And so not that playtest, but like the next playtest when Wormsbane was open, we actually hooked up with Nick the Dragon Slayer, right? And he's a dev, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to spend time with the players. He de-leveled himself so we could go through the dungeon, play
Oh
the dungeon
wow.
out, and we end up killing the boss. He ends up giving us like flight mode. We're up on top of statues at Night Harbor. Like those memories will never leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now I don't remember killing every single boss, but I remember him being there. Like, does
Yeah.
that make sense? And I remember slaying the last boss, but like and don't fall when you first go in, right? Like he said that, and one of our party members fell right away. So we're already like, duh, well,
That's
we
awesome.
fell. So,
Yeah.
and it was great. So like, I mean, having that interaction with the devs, and we've had those interactions with the devs every playtest and on their streams. They listen to you, they talk to you. The feedback loop is amazing here. And like I said, from a team of volunteers, when AAA companies can't match that type of service, it's amazing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. So, well, I guess we can gloss over these two because we pretty much nailed it. But what does Monsters and Memories need to do anything specific to become a
So
forever game for you? Because
that's
you play a lot of
right.
MMOs. You've seen a lot, actually, a lot
Well, and
more
that's
than
part of the
most.
MMO Sunday was, go out there and play different MMOs. So that way, while we're waiting for Monsters and Memories to come back,
Hmm.
let's go try this game or that game, a Project Gorgon, a Pantheon, whatever it may be. There's some other ones out there that we've looked at that we just haven't tried. The
Hmm.
group collectively was kind of like, we'll just stick with what we got. And it
Yeah.
does become a money type. If you're spending $25 on every game, you can't ask 5 to 6 people to keep spending money on the games. So, we try to find a game that everyone can play or has a free demo that really helps or is free itself.
Hmm.
But Monsters and Memories as a forever game, definitely. Like I said, if a stream is happening and they announce something, we drop it right away. Um, yeah, I don't want to say that it is
Absolutely.
already. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Obviously, there's work to be done, but I will be there when it launches. I know that.
I feel the exact same way. I drop everything, and I hang out in the stream sometimes to get an alpha key, but I always tell people though too, like I've tested it, I like it. It is what it is. It's gonna come. It's great, and I'm just waiting for it. Let them cook. And it's like you said. I mean, there's been so much improvement. And I often say this too, but every single playtest, you can just see all the updates and all the improvements. It's getting better and better and better every single time. You can feel it, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
watching a kid grow. You're definitely seeing, you're marking them, on the side of the wall, like, oh, they got taller every single time.
yeah, yeah, that's a great way to say it. Is there anything that's like very promising for you right now about Monsters and Memories? What's the most promising thing for you?
That it's bringing back social gameplay. You know what I mean? There's a quote, one by Brad McQuaid, that I want to create worlds, not games,
Oh, I love
and
that.
another by Josh Strife Hayes, talking about how EverQuest didn't give you the fun, but made a world for you to have the fun in. And I think that's what Eminem is capturing. That you're having fun in the world and you're having fun with the people. And we're only scratching the surface here. You're starting to see it with more signs out, the housing coming out, and you're
Hmm.
going to start seeing those interactions happen more and more and more.
Hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Do you have like a big concern about the game and anything that you're worried about going forward?
It's the same thing. It's a social game, and in a niche space, how does that translate? Does the audience grab to it, and can it thrive on that? So it's pretty like
Beautiful.
two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, yeah. I worry about that as well. Like as a rogue, I always tell people, "Hey guys, I'm gonna need you." Like it's very difficult to do stuff by yourself. I'm very
Yeah.
much reliant on the community, and I'm just at the mercy of whoever is on and kind of willing to play. Um, is there anything that you hope the devs never change because it's core to the magic? I guess that goes
So
back to the social
no, yeah,
aspect.
yeah. But well, Loving Robot called it the secret sauce. There's a great video out there about why MMORPGs suck. The modern ones. And it's once you get that convenience,
Hmm.
everyone wants this or that, and once we get all those conveniences in, the game loses that magic. And that's something that Eminem hasn't doesn't have to worry about right now because it is at the beginning. So when everyone wants this or everyone wants that, and then they get it, and it becomes too easy of a game to play. So
Hmm.
you have to find that special zone there.
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely agree, and that's why I always say we're slowly coming back to the golden age of how things used to be. Because,
Agreed.
yeah, like all these MMOs, it just seems like, we didn't really notice it year by year, but then something just quietly slipped away when nobody was looking. Um, okay, so what's one thing that you hope that the devs iterate on, even if it's just a small thing?
So better way for friends to play outside of level range, right? Once we get to that level range, you're kind of done. And there has to be a better way than just making an alt that you only play with when X players online or that group's online. Especially once outside the playtest, not so hard. You have a strict amount of days. You kind of just play the group. Once you go live, I want to play that. I want to start building that player. If I have to switch up all the time, but I don't have an answer to it either.
Hmm.
Scaling is an issue all in of itself. So not like I have a solution. But it'd be cool if there were an easier way for players to meet up and be able to play together outside of level range.
Yeah, yeah, I think that would be fun. There's a lot of ways they could address that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know the answer. I
I,
don't know
I,
the
I
answer.
don't either, and that's why, yeah, I don't know the answer. I'm genuinely curious. There's a lot of ways they could approach it, but they know what they're doing, so we'll leave it to the devs.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
interested to see their take on it. But right now,
yeah.
you just kind of got to make sure you're there. Once you get into the higher levels, though, and someone wants to join in,
Hmm.
and they're brand new, they have to find their own social group then, or you have to restart with them to get them up.
Hmm.
And it just that doesn't. A lot of people are turned off by that sometimes, right? Can't.
Yeah, yeah.
I try to, again, on the streams, we try to get everyone involved. I'm trying to get people to the links there, and they come into level one. They're like, "What do I do?" Well, you kind of got to
Hmm.
hold their hand a little bit, right? You got to help them out. And there
Yeah,
is no one there, and you're trying to get these people to go teach them, so they'll go teach someone else in a sense too. Well, if I
yeah.
get them, maybe they get people in their friend group
Hmm.
outside, and it becomes we get one, boom, we get four, 8, 12, and we keep building up from that.
Yeah,
So I definitely try, or we'll give out gear. We'll put them in the right zone. That's
that's
where the
awesome.
guides started to come up. That's exactly where the guides started to come from. Hey, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Well, I'll just make a video for you. Here, let me
Hmm.
make this video. You know what I mean? And I realized how much fun I was having in those.
Dude, by the way, so I discovered you through the Monsters and Memories guides. My very first video was the one with the green beetle armor quest hull, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Oh,
And man,
yeah.
the one thing, and I will link all your stuff, but the one thing that I love is all your stuff is it's very fast, it's very punchy. I'm not good with like you have a particular, I don't know if it's like an accent or what, but like you have a, it's almost like a commentator vibe. We don't have to get too far into the specifics, but it just seems like you blend your love for sports and MMOs kind of together, and it gives me like almost like a sports announcer vibe or like a sports commentator. But your videos are just quick, they're to the point. There's no fluff, there's no time wasting, there's no, smash the subscribe button. And this, it's like here it is, this is what it is, and that's amazing because we need that in the space right now. So yeah, I that's how I found you, the green
The whole,
beetle.
yeah, the
Yeah,
whole was my first video actually,
I
for
love
the
that.
MMM space. Yeah, that was my first one. And that one was like probably 2 to 3 minutes longer. And the, I mean, as much as I hear you have a great voice, I don't like hearing my own voice. And then I would stutter, or I would, so I just started cutting stuff out and I made a tighter script
Hmm.
and I just kind of reset it again and it all worked.
Yeah,
The fast, punchy pace that definitely comes from the sports. I'm a huge hockey fan, so that's fast paced. I love football. I love baseball. I love all sports, to be fair. The city I grew up in, those are the three sports that we have. So watching those all the time. I remember being allowed to stay up well past bedtime to watch playoff games and whatnot. Following those announcers, being able to follow the action live and keep the entertainment there, the energy high, everybody engaged. It's definitely something that has carried over to my videos, especially because I'm reading from a script.
hmm,
So I feel like when I slow down, that I'm going too slow. So you can hear it right now. I'm a fast talker.
I
I
love it.
definitely am. Yeah. So it naturally comes to the videos, and I feel like even in the videos, I'm slowing myself down just a little bit, because I feel like I do talk fast, and I know that, and I want to make sure words aren't stumbled over and that they're clearly enunciated for people. I've heard people go, "That isn't your real voice." It's my real voice. I just talk a little bit slower, so it's a little bit more
Mhm.
bassier. But yeah, it's definitely something that growing up, I love my sports. It definitely carries through for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I love the blend, but yeah, that's really important work, and it's really important for players not to get, a lot of people get intimidated too. And just to touch on that a little bit, so like, it's been a while. I've been kind of spoiled by the convenience of modern MMOs. So you log in, the city is kind of big and intimidating. I mean, and to this day, like I don't know my way around Night Harbor exactly. I know where like the guildmaster is, the bank. I know what I need to do, and then just kind of get back out there. My thing is the exploration, so I always encourage people just not to get discouraged, and uh, kind of force, like, hey, just ask for help, don't just go out there and die and get frustrated and say that this game sucks and quit and move on, so it's really important work.
Touching on Night Harbor being so big, you're right. Every playtest we find an area that we didn't know about Night Harbor, or oh, this goes there. There's even more here. You literally could level up from level 1 to like 40 there. You don't have to leave Night Harbor ever.
That's
You just
awesome.
sit there. Yeah, like,
Wow.
and I don't think people realize that. That just inside the town, there are things for you to level up on that you could never leave. You don't have to
Wow.
go out into you know what I mean, the newbie zone right outside the necro. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
start there. You can
Yeah.
get right. You can go from there to other areas. It's
Yeah.
there,
I see
which is
this.
amazing.
Yeah, I see this area that people are exploring. There's also like there's almost like a kind of like, I don't know if it's like a little refugee hut area or something. There's like all these like people, and there's an area with boats and pirates and stuff. I see people fighting out there. It's pretty cool. So there's so much I
Yeah.
haven't seen either. Yeah, that's amazing, and I love that.
So wait, have you
Yeah,
taken the boat in the game?
I haven't taken the boat yet. I
Oh
haven't.
man, you got to go on a boat ride.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you're missing
dude,
out. There's
so
definitely there's islands out there that they have all kinds of stuff out there. It's
I
amazing.
love that. So the last playtest, and yeah, I'd love to hear your experience with the even the more recent playtest. But for me, so so believe it or not, probably out of most people playing the game, I've seen the least. I only went to Fallen Pass. That's as far as I've been. I've just been grinding.
Okay.
I got to level 24, and this last playtest I actually de-leveled because I was just exploring with my rogue. I went into stealth and I slowly walked around the world and just kind of saw as much as I could see. But I haven't taken the boat. No, I haven't taken the boat.
Okay.
I
Okay.
tried to swim to the boat. You know, in the distance, you can kind of see a boat just kind of in the water. I tried to get to it, but I think I was in a weird corner of the zone. Whenever I got close to it, it zoned me back out to Fallen Pass, and then the boat was even farther away. So I'll get
Gave
to it
up on
another.
that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. But yeah, so and another question that I had is, so like, just since we're on the topic of this, what's your strategy or plan or goal just kind of going into the game when it's released? Are you going, are you going for like world first? Are you going to, level to 60, start raiding? Are you the type of person that, maybe explores a bunch of alts or crafting or what's your plan with your group just kind of going
So
into the
yeah,
game?
that's just it. We actually haven't talked about any group goals like that. We're still trying to pin who all is going to be there. We know we have a few of us. A few may not be able to make the jump after it goes, and that's sad. We also have a few more that have not played at all, waiting for the release of the game.
Hmm.
So we're just getting them all in. I know me personally, the world first stuff I'm not chasing anymore. I'm not a big, that was a WoW time. Like chasing the world first was something in WoW.
Yeah.
I definitely know with the work schedule that I have and creating content and whatnot, I'm just there to play the game and enjoy it. I
Absolutely.
want to play with my friends. I know that for sure. And we've already talked about that. I'm going to be a druid. So just go back in as a druid is what I've been playing.
Oh,
I've really
awesome.
enjoyed the druid class.
Awesome.
I've watched the other healers. We're going to do a hardcore as well. So there'll be a couple things there that we've talked about doing. But definitely just exploring the world. There's going to be so much more of the world that we haven't got to see yet that
Hmm.
we're excited to go explore and see.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love that you're gonna stick with like making content and also just kind of enjoying
Oh
the
yeah.
game. I'm kind of the same way, but that also means that, yeah, maybe you won't be world first or whatever. And I'm okay with that, because that's another interesting question that I have or observation, and I don't know the answer to this, but um do you think that it's possible to kind of recreate the good old days of playing and raiding and even though now uh, us people who kind of pioneered those, we were playing 16 hours a day, grinding hardcore, like in WoW, like you said. And now, we have jobs, we have responsibilities, families, work, whatever.
I actually think yes, because we are the same people that were doing those 16 hours now playing this game. I think Monster and Memory definitely skews towards the older range. I
Hmm.
don't think you see a lot of the younger, and we've experienced this already. We all have jobs, we all have things that we need to take care of. And I think that now gets taken into account when you're putting those groups together or guilds are being formed. It used to be, oh, this is all I'm doing. Come, I'm going to go right. No, I have my wife, and we're going to do this then.
Hmm.
That's why Sundays are good for us, right? We can all plan on a Sunday being there,
Yeah.
and I think you'll see that kind of carry over. I think you see that maturity already in the game and in the chat. Everybody helping each other out,
Hmm.
everyone being willing to take time to show someone where something is, or get them to the right zone, or even get them the gear that they need. So I think already M&M has that ahead of other games.
No, that's great. Yeah, and it sounds like, yeah, you guys have a solid group. Everybody's looking out for each other, and that's a good way. The strength of the group will propel you even further
Mhm.
rather than solo play, for sure. And then just a couple fun questions. Do you have any like funny moments that have happened or like just fun memories, ridiculous deaths or any kind of just fun stories?
Well, I mean, M&M itself. So right outside the North Gate, you're going up to where Warlord Mugra would be. The first three goblins there, you can spawn a Necro that will fear you. And we had our
Oh,
friend Holy Carp get feared off the edge and die because he zoned through and then got smashed on the mountain. Well, after zoning through, he was so high up on the mountain that you couldn't drag corpse, that you couldn't res the corpse. So the only way to get it was to fall past it again and try to grab it on the way past. Well, all of us were going to keep perishing if we tried to do that, right? There was no other way. So we're like shocked. He lost everything. I mean, he can't get his body, and we really don't want to bother dev. We're trying to creatively figure out a way to get this in game and not use admin powers, right? And believe
yeah.
me, we'd have got to that point. We would have, but we're stressing about this about an hour now. Finally, a Necro works their way up to the same area, a player. And we're like, oh, hey, be careful, they'll fear you off the edge. He was like, oh, I was wondering about that. Yeah, it definitely will fear you off the edge. Don't let it happen. We have a body down there that we can't reach. And they're like, well, I can bulwark and like try to drag it on the way past. We're like, if you want to do it, go right ahead. Like, we're not, like, we can't volunteer you, but we'll go back down to the bottom so we can watch you, right? So we all go back down, and he jumps down and wow, grabs the body, and everything is saved. So, what was like the worst moment for someone? And obviously us as a group, because you don't want someone in your party to lose everything. It's just a down. It turns into a great moment where we talk about it now every time we walk past that, right?
Hmm.
Every single time. And just actually this last playtest going down the ladder to Warlord Margra, I fell off the ladder and went to land on the zone, and it zoned me, and it put me in a zone that had no enemies, zero, just me.
Oh,
Oh, just the world. So I did have to reach out to the devs. I think that's what's cool about these playtests is being dropped into little nuggets that you don't know and getting to share them with, hey, this is broke. Can you fix this? Or figuring
yeah.
out creative ways because of the game being a little clunky to keep having fun. And that we definitely have that. We do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's definitely what the playtests are for, and that helps the team. But man, the same thing happened to me. I got feared off of the fallen pass, like the higher part with the skeletons.
Yeah.
I got feared off the cliff, fell down where the undead are, died. Then I had to get my corpse. So I'm a rogue, and very stupidly, like I fell down. My health was just barely a sliver, and it's an old EverQuest mechanic where if you fall below 20% health, the mobs will auto aggro you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nothing the tank can do. They can't be taunted, whatever. So I dragged my body all the way back up the ramp to the healer, but they were like pulling and still fighting. So then I died again with low health. So I like
Oh,
double
no.
died right in front of the cleric. But anyway, yeah. So just yeah, fun moments, and I love that the world is basically just an open sandbox. And then I mean, even for you guys, like what turned into a very tragic situation, a stranger basically came by and that created an interaction
Yeah, the
there, and
world help. Yeah. The social
that's
aspect. That's it exactly. Yeah.
that's that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's see here. I might gloss over a couple of these because we touched on a lot of this already. So this is a very interesting and important question, and I don't know the answer to this either, but I'm just genuinely very curious from people who play a lot of MMOs like yourself. So well, first you have the Holy Trinity. You have tank, heal, DPS. That's kind of standard in MMOs these days, but Monsters and Memories brings back the four pillars, the mythical support class, bards, enchanters, like buffer, debuffer, that kind of thing. That's beautiful in and of itself. But do you think that MMO classes are basically solved at this point? Um, do you think everything's already discovered or just kind of created? If there's room to innovate, where is it in your opinion? Is it class identity, mechanics, social reliance, itemization, utility? Just genuinely curious.
So definitely everything is not discovered, right? Someone's going to come up with something that we go, man, why haven't we had this for 20 years? And I think that's going to be more game specific on what the games can do. If you're talking maybe like a raid leader or a general, right? Someone who can direct people in raids, and if they're in the right spots or doing the right things, heals are going off when they're supposed to, a kick happens, that
Hmm.
bonuses happen. I don't have the answer. I'm just saying, but
Yeah,
that could even be add to a ranger, right? So that way it's a subclass or something that you take that you can spec into.
yeah.
You definitely looking at monsters and memories. There's other things that you can do. The technical side of it, like a tinkerer, right? Just in D&D, like an artificer or a tinkerer,
Hmm.
that's not in the game. You could definitely have someone who is building like constructs, like little golems or something that
Yeah,
are their pets instead of, what I mean? So we can definitely, there's definitely room to advance or do different things or bring new classes in. You speak of the tank, heal, support, DPS. Can we go outside that? Is there like a fifth? That one I don't know really. Is there a fifth one? I feel like the four there that does, but the classes themselves, no, you can
yeah,
definitely fill those in.
yeah.
So that's how I feel. Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah. And I think Monsters and Memories has like such a good array of stuff that they already give you. And it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, a lot of people are arguing maybe you can combine the Ranger and the Archer. Maybe that doesn't need to be separate classes. But, now I was just thinking like, because historically, a Ranger, for example, is like it's like a warrior mixed with a Druid. But there's nothing specifically, I mean, they got bows, just they did, but if you think about it, like the archer class, it could be like a actually like a like crossbows and just someone up on a castle ramparts that's like specializes in like marksmanship and precision. Like that's kind of interesting to me, to see where they could go. And the spellblade or the one Inquisitor, I think it is the one that's
Inquisitor.
that's an enchanter and also a fighter. I think that's kind of interesting as well.
I think it's underplayed
It's
right now. I think everyone's waiting to do it on the main. They just I haven't seen too many. I'm like, yo, that feels like the class everyone should play is Inquisitor, but maybe because it was on the human only for a little bit. I don't know. It definitely felt like it was underplayed though. I do feel Archer and Ranger though should be separate classes, 100%. The Ranger is more like you just said, a fighter with a Druid, and that's why you see the heal spell on them. Where Archer shouldn't have that. Archer should have more of like the volley where they're hitting AOE targets, maybe. You know what I mean? A
Mhm.
Ranger should be more single target, I would imagine. You know what I mean? So that I do feel that they're two different classes, though. I can see why people say it, though. The Archer is underrepresented right now.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel like there's a lot there, but I feel like they have stuff planned for it, and we're going to be amazed in the end.
Mhm. Yeah, very interesting. Do you have any ideas about like classes or anything you'd like to add or see or
That's
just from your perspective playing so far?
No, I mean, so I've played Paladin, Druid, Cleric. A lot of the videos I started getting up to like level 4 in the classes,
Oh
so
wow.
I could
Okay.
just see how they played. And there's a class underneath each of them, right? They all have their strengths, they all have some weaknesses, and I think that's what makes each class unique.
Hmm.
Like I said, the Ranger, I feel like this past play test, I don't know, Ranger's got a fire now that lasts 25% longer.
Oh
And when they
wow.
put logs on it, it lasts, like the logs last longer. That makes sense for a Ranger, right? Like I want my Ranger to have those like nature abilities. So I still think we have some of the little things are going to be coming into each class that they already have. Me personally, the Druid works. I need more leather armor that is spec for casters, like because I'm stuck in cloth and I feel like maybe it's me and I just missed it. I can't find it, but there's really no like caster leather. That's what I need. Like
Oh yeah,
seriously.
interesting.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
caster leather, like druid leather.
Yeah.
It's
No,
all
that's
rogue or so.
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I can see that for sure. And that's something I would like to do if they have, and I'm sure they're gonna have more playtests. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I
I'm
would
not sure. Yeah, yeah, we're not sure.
I would think so. But one thing I like about Monsters and Memories is you get your class kit very early on. And like you said, by the time you level to 4 ish, you pretty much get a sense of what that class is going to be like and play like. So that's kind of interesting. And I haven't done too much of that. I pretty much just went hard on the rogue. I started dabbling in an elementalist and a necromancer. Which are classes I've always been
Good
interested in.
classes.
My
Yeah.
dream is to have, so my rogue is going to be my main, and then I'm thinking I can have like a backup necromancer where I can solo. Like thematically, I'm not so much like a necromancer type, but it's amazing what that class can do, So
One
that's
of our players is leaning necro hard because of
oh
that. That it's like the chill one.
yeah,
Sit back, let your pets do what you need to do. Sit by
yeah,
the campfire. Drop it here, drop there. So, and
yeah.
they're looking at Ellie as the other one too. So that's funny you say that.
I love that. Yeah, so it's like you can be in a group and be amazing, or you can be by yourself. You have that option.
Correct.
As a rogue, you can solo, but it's very tough. That's very interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Very, very interesting. Let me think here if I have anything else specifically for Monsters and Memories.
Yeah, no
Just
problem.
just kind of looking at my notes here. I think we pretty much covered a lot. Oh, do you have okay, so this is just kind of for fun, just thinking of all the stuff we've talked about. Do you have any interesting commentary on like kind of the hot takes in the community? For example, people want there's a debate, should they have a map, should they not have a map? Should it be like a kind of like a very crudely drawn map, maybe like from a goblin that's non-GPS, or should there be GPS map? Should there be chat bubbles? Um, like, do you have any idea,
So
thoughts on?
maps are a big one, actually. We talk about maps, and some people won't play a game if it has a map at all. They'll exit out 100%. They don't care if it's I don't have a map, I can't play. I've already heard it. You know what I mean? Especially on our play test. No map, nope, don't want to play. I think again that goes back to that secret sauce, right?
Hmm.
You start putting in all the modern conveniences, you start giving everybody what they want, and then the game loses its magic. I Chat bubbles, I kind of understand why it's kind of hard, but like if you don't know that you're talking to someone, then you're not talking to them. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, hey, Hammer, I'm talking to you. Hey, Slayheim, I'm talking to you. Hello, Carp, how are you?
Yeah.
That's what we do in the real world, right? Like you usually say the person's name and let them know that you're talking to them. I get that it can be hard to find people, but move away from the West Gate, and it's a little bit easier to find people, right? It's not so hard when you're all clumped up around the same campfire. You know what I mean? Just take a step away, tell them, hey, I'm a step to the west of the fire.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chat bubbles would kind of break it for me in the game. A map, I'm not opposed to if it was more, like you said, a static map, like you just kind of open and it doesn't tell you where you are, that you can kind of just see the area maybe.
Hmm.
But even then, that's why we have the guides out there, right? People are definitely helping you find those things if the game isn't going to provide you with them.
Hmm.
And again, help is always helpful to tell you where to go. And like you said, so learning the city, you're gonna once you start unlocking all those things, you start working your way out. It's so rewarding to be able to
Yeah.
take yourself from one thing to another, knowing that you don't need a map.
Hmm.
That you do need to know where to go. And don't get me wrong, we have people in our group that get lost from going from the bank to the gate every time. All right, like it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, wait, where are we going again? Come to the West Gate. Where's that again?
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, man, the West Gate. It happens. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So I get why a map is useful. I do. I can see that. But personally, I'm fine with them not having it if that's their vision.
Hmm.
Because I do feel like this game has that right now. It feels so good that once you start adding too many modern conveniences, does the game lose its magic?
Yeah, I love it. And for me too, man, oftentimes, like even to this day, like I'll push M or tab or I'll try to pull up whatever the map button is, and I'm like, oh shit, there is no map. And so, and then I spent like 2 or 3 hours one playtest just really learning the city. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure out where the stuff, at least I need, is in the city. And once you have that knowledge, no one can take it away from you. So you can have, your second, third, fourth character, and like you already kind of know, okay, the bank is the bank, like that's fine. And it's beautiful to me because you're kind of forced to pay attention to your environment, pay attention to the landmarks, the vibe. And one of the things that I love the most about this game probably is just the ambience, the atmosphere, the music. Like every single time, I'm just really like I love the sunrise, I love the sunset. It's
I would say the
so
day night
beautiful.
cycle is so key. The day night
Yeah,
cycle, man, it's beautiful. The three moons, they all have different phases. You can
yeah,
see them, you can watch them going across, and you can even tell. Well, all right, it's about to be daytime. What are we going to be doing? You don't have to
yeah.
type slash time in. You can tell.
Dude, I love that so much. That's my favorite thing about the game. Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you have a favorite thing?
The day night cycle, we've sat there and watched it enough. Sitting by a campfire, I think games are underrated when you don't have a campfire that you can sit by and
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
The crackle of the campfire is just amazing.
yeah.
And saying that, I can see that's where maps could come in. Like you said, someone could be a cartographer, and they
Hmm.
could go out and have to map the land to
Hmm.
make their maps. That you can't just make the map right away. That's something that could be in the game. Again, you wouldn't have GPS on the map, and that would make sense for the game. I could see that.
Hmm.
Chat bubbles just that's just adding to it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And it'll be interesting. Maybe you could have some kind of trade skill or crafting thing where maybe you sacrifice like one of your backpacks, but in return you could bring like a big giant map that you roll out where you can kind of plot stuff where your group has been, or maybe some kind of shelter. Like people have talked about maybe maybe like a shelter over the fire. But yeah, I absolutely
Right.
love it, and I love how they've iterated on that because a camp is almost like a little social hub. Our group is there, we pull to the group, and it's just like the warmth of the campfire, and you get the little benefit, and it's so awesome, man. And I'm just thinking of all the different ways it could go. Maybe there could be like better wood or like some kind of magical wood or wood with like different elements, and then if you put that in the fire, maybe you get some kind of buffs or some kind of
Like
additional
that.
benefit. It's just so interesting.
See, I like that. That's definitely, like I said, the Ranger now has that campfire that lasts longer. So they're already putting some little things into the campfire. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Getting some wood from a different area that, higher level wood that
Hmm.
you put on gives you a stam buff. This one gives you mana regen buff, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Or whatever on top of what you already had. I can see that. That really would work.
Yeah, it'll only grow from here. I mean, even if it ships right now today, this is my joke always. I have my credit card here. I'll get it right now, day one.
Correct.
But yeah, dude. Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. I think this is pretty much all I have for monsters and memories specifically. I think.
Okay.
Trying to think if I missed anything. Yeah, I was just gonna see if you had any ideas on like some of the hot takes in the community. One thing that I'm gonna try to do more of, so I've been really bad about this historically. I peruse the Discord server and I occasionally peruse the Reddit, but I don't ever like post much or kind of engage. There's a lot of interesting discussions going on the Discord. So
I read as much as probably you do. I read it all, and I'm not a poster as well because I enjoy all the different takes.
mhm.
And I don't really have a clear side most of the time. I'm willing to take this ride and see where it goes.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
not, I'm not the developer. I'm just a player, and I'm more than happy to watch it. I
Yeah.
think it's crazy. Some people will get on their side, and they're going to die on that side. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's the fun thing. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I got into a little bit of the fun of dwarf or goblin. What were we going to do? It was a goblin mage or dwarf inquisitor, right? I had a little bit of fun of that.
Yeah.
So I do get involved, but I definitely read everything. I'm always looking at the community content, going through the discussions, and reading everything there. I don't think I've been on the Reddit yet. I don't do a lot of Reddit. I do Reddit, but I don't
Yeah.
Reddit enough. I probably should get there and look at that as well. But
Yeah.
again, it would just be me reading more than posting, probably,
Yeah.
which
Same.
is weird. I love putting my voice out there, obviously, but then I just don't. Sometimes I don't type, so yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Awesome. Awesome. Sweet. How are we doing on time? Are you good?
We are fine, man.
Okay.
Take your time. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we just started at 7 basically, and we started early, so we're good.
Okay.
We were
Perfect.
supposed to start at 7, is what I'm saying. It's 7:19, bro. You got plenty of time.
Oh, perfect.
You
No,
know me, man. Yeah, you got to worry about
this is
nothing.
great. Actually, I woke up very early. This is an early morning special because I wanted to get you and
Yeah, I'm a morning guy. I definitely am. So tonight though, I'll be streaming late. Not that this needs to be in. Obviously, please cut this out. Like tonight, I'll be going
no
till midnight
worries.
for no reason other than it's Saturday night. You know what I mean? We do dumb stuff on Saturday. I usually work today, so I'm usually at work, but I get this weekend off, so pretty nice.
No, I love it. That's great. You deserve it. Yeah, and I love the consistency because every once in a while too, there's people with incredible stamina, endurance, like that. That's always my joke. Like Quatos, for example. My joke is like, so dude, like I'll go like 6, 7, 8 hour sessions, and I think hey, that's pretty good and good energy the whole time, feeling good about it. And there was one night I went to sleep, had an amazing night, woke up the next day, had coffee, whatever, came back, and like Quatos was still streaming, or like other people are still streaming. Just people
Yeah.
like that, I'm never gonna be able to keep up with my all my work obligations and stuff like that. But anyway, I had a point with that. Well, what was I gonna say? I guess that just kind of goes into like the world first thing of just yeah. So and I'm kind of like I'm interested in making the guides and whatnot. But anyway,
Mhm.
so okay, let's see here. Just looking over the notes. What about okay, so let's touch on some other MMOs and
Yeah.
other things. Is there anything so you play a lot of MMOs. I've only played a few. So I'm just from my limited perspective, are there any other MMOs, old or new, that you think deserve more attention right now?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Project Gorgon has shocked every single one person in our group. They have a free demo. This is like my plug for them 100%. Project Gorgon. It's
Yeah.
funny, it's goofy, it works. That's the best way to explain it. There's no like you have your character. You can be anything in that character. So if you decide one day you wake up you want to be a mage, you go grab the staff, you start being a mage.
Hmm.
If you decide halfway through that, then nope, I want to be sword and board again. Put the sword and board on, put the skills on, and go. It's
Okay.
crazy how it works. I can't believe it. And then the other one would be it's not really an MMO, but I gotta give it love. It's Project Zomboid, made by an indie company. It's been out for about 13 years, and it's a retro vibes over. It's like isometric, and it's project that's a zombie survival game.
I see a
So
lot
when
of
you get
people
everyone
playing that.
involved, yeah. So that's another one that I definitely want to give a good shout out to.
Okay, very awesome. Do you have a take on Pantheon? I saw you were playing a lot of Pantheon historically, and I do too. I kind of have some strong thoughts. We don't have to put this in the segment, but I'm just very
Oh, I don't
curious
mind.
on a personal level. Because for me, let me just say so. Okay, Brad McQuaid is my hero. You mentioned Brad McQuaid. He changed
Hmm.
my life. He changed, and actually, so fun fact for me so Brad passed away in 2019, and I was playing a lot of EverQuest at the time. I had to kind of start over in my life. I was kind of dealing with some family stuff, and I just changed jobs. Kind of had to start over in my life, and I was playing a lot of EverQuest, just kind of thinking about my life, the things that influenced me and whatnot. And I knew that Pantheon was in development for a while, so and then I was watching like Sean, a loving robot, and just the EverQuest streams and just kind of really like reflecting on the things that influenced me as a kid. And that's why I felt like I owed it to Brad to try Pantheon and this and that. So, but so just it's had a very turbulent development cycle. They've had a lot of setbacks. I think there was another member of their team that passed away too. And they kind of pivoted a few times but one thing I always try to tell people, I believe in the best in people, and I know it's so incredibly difficult to develop a game. Like I know that it is, and they kind of they're in a tough situation, and so I feel for them. But for me, I wanted to take a break to focus on on some other things I'd like to do, and just kind of devote my energy to that because I don't have a whole lot of time.
Hmm.
And so I think I will check the game out. It just needs more time to cook. In my opinion, there's just not a whole lot to do right now in the game, and I guess that's kind of where my stance on it is. Joppa is an amazing guy, really well-rounded guy. I love the way he speaks. Like I appreciate that kind of clarity, the mental clarity that he has, and I enjoy his streams a lot. But me personally, so for me, it's like Monsters and Memories is truer to EverQuest, whereas Pantheon is more of like a blend of like World of Warcraft and all these other games and the rotation. So one thing I didn't ask you was, how do you feel? So like, okay, sorry to throw all this at you, but
No, no, you're good. You're
so,
good.
Monsters and Memories is described as having like sandwichy combat. The rotations are relatively simple. You can pay attention to the amazing world and the environment. Whereas Pantheon, like for a rogue, it is like, I mean, it's a kind of there's a lot
You have
going
to
on.
match after each one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dire Lord, you have to hit this, and you have to hit that, then you have to hit this. I have to expose you so that way we can do this. So that way, you know
yeah.
what I mean? That all that has to be there. So which one do I like better? I like Monsters and Memories better. I don't want to have to follow button one to two to three, go back to one to hit four, back to one to hit five.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to worry about the combos too much. Now, saying that, other games have that, and it like on their monks. Maybe one class has it, not all the classes. I can kind of see it. Sometimes you break it down, but once every class has it, then it becomes
Hmm.
your what you're known for, right?
Hmm.
Project or Pantheon is a game that's changed so many times. It feels like it never knew what it wanted to be. What you said, you know what I mean? What they
Hmm.
do well is honoring Brad McQuaid's original vision of creating worlds, not games.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the spiritual successor DNA is there of EverQuest, but through development, they've lost who they were so many times. And you touched on that. You know what I mean? The perception in this space, it's not there for them. It's rough. That's a game that you bring it up at my review, that review for that game. Oh my, the amount of negative stuff on that game that is said, whereas all the other games that I reviewed, people are just nice about it, and they're not nearly as polished games. It's amazing the perception in the space right now. I feel like if they can finally lock in on who they want to be and stick to that vision, and keep growing, which you're
Yeah.
starting to see. I feel like you are starting to see that with some of the updates. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're seeing that they
Hmm.
need to start fleshing out who they are and stay to that core identity. That they do have a chance, but to get back that perception out there where they're at, that's the hardest. That's going to be the hardest uphill climb for them,
Yeah.
because they have a lot of bad press more than good press,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Absolutely. And this is something I'm thinking about too. Gamers, and sometimes I'm guilty of this too, but in general, with the way that the world is now, people can be immediately dismissive. And that's with anything. They do. I mean, even Monsters and Memories, they go,
Yep.
they're like, "Oh, this game sucks." And they just leave a negative review. But and another thing too, it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be in competition with each other. Like, so sometimes I see a lot of the so some of the devs from Monsters and Memories often hang out in the Pantheon chat. I think Joppa, he's seen Monsters and Memories and he supports it, and I love that. But the community can just be so toxic, I guess, sometimes. But you're right though. It's like once you kind of have that bad press or like kind of bad sentiment, it's really tough to. It's been an uphill battle for a while, basically, and
Correct.
I really feel for them. Yeah.
You speak of that toxicness or you almost tribalism, right?
Yes.
If I'm this game, I'm only this game, and it can only be that game. If you play that game, I can't talk to you. Simply put, man, just try games with an open mind. Remember that there are other people on the other side that are making those games just like you,
Yeah.
sitting in your chair right now, that they're putting their work into it, love, time, energy, and they're really trying to make something that they're passionate about. It may not be your vision, and that's all right. Just move on to the next game. There's no reason to completely bash it at every turn because it
Yeah.
was something that you didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we can
Yeah.
all, as players, just as a community, support the community. If Pantheon succeeds, MMOs themselves will succeed, right? It will help Monsters and Memories because there is another player base. You know what I mean? Because there more people are playing it, and that you might get a little runoff there. Let me check out this game. You need successful MMOs in the space. You can't just have one. You know what I mean? Because what happens when you're done with that one? Then you move from the genre. You leave altogether. Then you're not playing MMOs anymore. So I do think if we all just kind of keep it up and know that things can change. You are not the same person that you were a year ago, from 3 years ago to 5 years ago. Those games aren't either. And I think that's something that we need to remember, that we may not have liked it 5 years ago, but they put a lot of work in. If you
Hmm.
still own it, load it back up. Ask a friend to play it if they bought it. Watch a stream. See if those core things have changed. See if what you hate has changed.
Hmm.
And just keep an open mind, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's a beautiful answer. And from being a massive sports fan, you might appreciate this, but that's one analogy I like to make or draw this comparison. It's like people almost treat it like a sports team. Like, this is my game, this is your game. F you, my game's better. Like, this game sucks. And there's no time for that. Like, people like hate watch stuff. Like the Pantheon
Yeah.
Reddit is just like a cesspool of negativity, and every time Joppa posts something, it makes me sad, But yeah, no, absolutely. That was a beautiful, beautiful answer. Um, okay, let's see here. Let's move on a little bit from
Okay.
there. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
So okay, now this one's very important. So if we're sort of coming to the end of it here,
Yeah. No problem.
um, if you could just bottle up one message and send it to the Monsters and Memories
Okay.
devs, what would it be? Yeah.
Simply, seriously, thank you. In a world of vaporware and titles that just drop off, thank you, thank you, thank you. Triple A companies with over 200 million budget don't do half the things that you do, and we appreciate that. That's it. Seriously, thank you so much. The 100% way we touched on it. 100% volunteers, haven't taken any money from anyone, and look at the quality of the game that we get. Over the holiday, right there, we're getting into New Year's and we have a play test. You know what I mean? Think about that. People were just getting done with their holidays probably, and here we are throwing out a product so we can have some fun during the downtime because they know that probably people are off of work. Let's have some fun. I think it's amazing. It really is. This team has blown me away. Like I said, you asked, is this a forever game for me already? These are the reasons why they have already come. So seriously, just thank you to the devs.
Hmm. Beautiful. Yeah. stick to your vision, stick to your guns, and yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. And I'm hoping that it's my forever game as well. Yeah, huge into EverQuest, playing Project Quorum right now, but I'm gonna be sticking with Monsters and Memories for sure. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be no lifing it as much as I can. Oh, how do you feel about a Drulin Online Adventures? I forgot to ask you. That was in my notes as well. Is that on your radar at all from someone
We
who's a
looked.
MMO
Yeah,
enjoyer?
we looked at it. We definitely did. Unfortunately, it was like the time committed. We had already committed time to Gorgon, committed time to Pantheon, and then the playtests keep on coming. So every time that we're getting to that point where, hey, a new one. Oh, and then by the way, Project Zomboid released multiplayer. So we can all finally play together again. So it's there. It's like number 5 on the list. You know what I mean? We just haven't got there. We have looked at it. It looks amazing. Like I feel like I could have fun playing it. Getting everyone to go again to there. You know what I mean? That's so right now I got them all hooked on Monsters and Memories. I'm afraid to take them to another game.
No, I got you. That's great. That's great. Beautiful answer. Love the message to the devs. Love your passion. Thank you again so much for doing this with me. Just a couple
Yes, sir.
more
Yeah.
quick questions to wrap up here. Do you what's one thing that your community may or may not know about you? And it could be something fun, something whimsical, if you feel like sharing. It's totally optional.
No, it's a great question. I don't know. I'm a pretty open book. Within reason, obviously sharing everything. Uh, yeah, I really don't know. I saw that question when we were sharing the questions, and I was like, man, I don't know if I have like seriously, my community, either they know me or they're not paying attention because I'm talking about it. Probably the biggest one is I'm nervous every single day doing this. That as confident as I look talking about it, I'm not. I'm scared to do it that's why I didn't do it. That's why I didn't start this until I was in my 40s. Content creation, because hitting go live was one of the hardest things to do ever.
Yes.
And like just getting past that anxiety of it. And I still have that to this day, but that's what makes it so much fun as well, is that I'm conquering those like kind of fears every day. So
Yeah. Dude, I gotta say, I totally sympathize with this, and this is something I talk about with my wife and my friends. Um, I have a very hard time hitting the start streaming button or start recording. That's the hardest thing to do. It's almost like going to the gym or whatever, you know. It's like the hardest thing is just driving yourself there, just getting there. And but I don't regret it. I have like sometimes like I've had some really great streams lately, a lot of good people, but I almost didn't do it. I almost didn't
mhm.
stream that day, you know. So
I understand. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
And then I get done and I walk out and I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. I'm very, you
yeah,
know what I mean? And yeah, so that's why even though I have like a schedule that I follow on the Twitch, the YouTube side is still putting those videos out, making them. Like that's where the fastness comes because then I don't scare myself away, right?
hmm,
Oh, we're done. We did it. It's a recorded. Okay. I didn't talk myself out of it kind of, but maybe that's, part of it as well. But yeah, definitely it's still it's there. You know what I mean? So maybe they don't know that. That's something I'd share.
beautiful, beautiful, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, like on your channel? What should people look out for? What are you working on? What do you have coming down the pipeline? Anything
So
exciting that's cooking?
yeah. As you alluded to, I'm a big sports fan. Football Manager 26 just came out. I ran an interactive league on Football Manager 24 that we're moving over to 26. So that's going to be a big part of the Twitch channel. YouTube is going to remain mostly, Monsters and Memories or MMO related. So that's what I pretty much haven't come down. The guides have kind of stopped because we were just exploring stuff in the game. It was really hard to get the videos. If
Hmm,
you do have an alpha key, you can't use those videos, right?
hmm,
So that was one of the reasons why I haven't been hunting an alpha key. I couldn't make content off of it, so I can only play test. So, and I didn't want people to accuse me of using the video, right, to make. So I just kind of never really went it, and the guys just kind of froze there for a little bit. But I still have plenty of ideas that when the game comes out, I plan on making the guides for. So
hmm,
we're doing that, and then just keep reviewing games as I keep playing them. I got a couple games over Christmas. Gonna
hmm,
pop a review or two out for those, so that way people can get into them.
hmm. That's beautiful. I gotta say I have some ideas for guides too, but I don't think Satior420 can be topped. Your guides are just incredible. It
Well, I
just
appreciate that.
absolutely incredible. And then, okay, so these are just a couple really fun questions that I'm thinking of on the spot here while I have you, just to kind of lean on your sports knowledge. So,
Okay.
If you don't mind, just if we have time. So my father was a semi-professional soccer player for our home city in Bulgaria. Not like a huge team or anything, not like, Barcelona or whatever, nothing huge. So I've always been a fan of soccer. I love soccer. Um, so I'm a huge Manchester United fan. One of the top Bulgarian players played under Sir Alex, and it was a whole thing. And then historically, some Bulgarian guys played in Barcelona and stuff. So that's a club that I really follow. Do you have a opinion on Manchester United? They've kind of gone downhill a lot
Uh,
lately.
I'm a
Um,
Man U fan over Man City.
okay,
So that's always been, as I don't know, remember why, but growing up, I prefer the red versus the blue. That's just
okay,
how it was.
okay,
But I'm actually a Bradford City fan.
okay. Yes,
I've been on a couple of
because
leagues.
that's what I
Yeah.
saw you playing, and I appreciate that. Because most people are like, "Oh, I like Real Madrid. That's a popular team." So you know what? I like them. So
And then,
I love that.
so in the Spanish league, I like Leganes, the Los Pepineros, the Cucumbers.
Oh
So
wow.
they got promoted last year, and then they got relegated back down. So they're in Division Two there. So that's, and I don't watch much MLS actually. I'd rather watch European football
Same.
than the MLS. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. MLS will pull me in every now and then. The game's on, I'm going to watch it. I actually prefer the women's soccer league here in America versus the men's soccer league.
Hmm.
I don't just better. It feels like better football. It really does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I enjoy the sport though. I can just put a game on. I don't have, again, I'm not usually catching many Bradford City games, so I don't have a dog in the race or a horse in the race. So I can just put a football match on and watch it and
Beautiful.
just
Me too.
go, this is, yeah, you know what I mean?
Me too. I love it. Me too. Yeah. No, that's great. Do you have well, Ronaldo or Messi? Do you have an opinion?
Ooh, great one. I'm still going to go Messi.
I like Messi as well. Fun fact,
Yeah.
I am 1 day older than Messi. I was born 1 day later. What am I doing with my life?
Okay, right.
So, dude, I love Messi, but you know what? As I've gotten older, I really appreciate Ronaldo too. I love it. People make that analogy. Messi is like an artist. He's got talent, but Ronaldo is just hard work, determination, training.
So MJ
Beautiful.
or Kobe or MJ or LeBron.
So here's the thing. I don't know enough to make that argument. I
Okay.
don't know. I've heard of them. They're both excellent basketball players,
You
but
don't watch much basketball
dude,
then?
to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't
Fair enough.
I
I
want to
feel like it's a
say
generational answer there is what I
I
was
want
kind
to
of getting at.
okay, yeah. I want to
You
say
know what I mean? Like,
LeBron, but I don't
okay.
I really don't
But you
know.
don't know, right? Yeah. So I always lean MJ because that's who I grew up watching. That's why
Okay.
Messi was my answer there. Is I watched more of him growing up or while I was getting into the sport. He's who, he was the one
Yeah.
that was being highlighted. Whereas now, Ronaldo he's now. And I already know. I mean, I already, again, I had my favorite in a sense. But yeah, MJ is definitely MJ over LeBron. I'll probably just cause some strife there with people.
Oh no, that's okay. Actually, I changed my answer. MJ as well. When I was a kid growing up, I just thought that was cool. Chicago Bulls, and then he was on that.
Yeah.
What was that one movie with like the Looney Tunes characters?
Oh, Space Jams.
I always thought that was cool
Right,
as a
see,
kid.
Space Jams.
You know what I
And then
mean?
LeBron did a Space Jams, and which one's better? The MJ Space Jam or the LeBron Space Jam?
Okay,
The MJ Space Jam's better. So
yeah,
he's a better movie star too.
I changed my answer. MJ all the way. Okay,
There
and
you
then
go.
and then last really fun one. So, okay, take everything I say with a grain of salt when it comes to other
Yes.
sports. So I'm in North Carolina. My real life best friend, Kazrax, he's also a content creator. He's mostly on YouTube, which is interesting. So a lot of the Monsters and Memories stuff is on Twitch. And actually, just fun fact, and I'm sure you know this, like the what's beautiful to me is about Monsters and Memories is that the culture of the game, like the whole identity of the game, is tied to the Twitch culture because it's been developed kind of on stream on Twitch streams and from talking
Mhm.
about it on Twitch streams. So it's very much like on Twitch. So the huge following is on Twitch. And there's guys like so actually my buddy Classic EverQuest, I'm going to be talking to him later today. Shout out to Classic EverQuest, but my buddy Kazrax as well. They're almost like they're 99% on YouTube. So it's kind of But
Hmm.
my real life best friend Kazrax, he's kind of like you. And so, really fun fact: whenever I first discovered your stream, I found you on YouTube first, but I saw you streaming, and I was like, dude, is that Kazrax? Did he like really step up his stream? You look very similar. He's also got a
Oh
mustache, and
wow,
he's
okay.
really into sports. So we're in North Carolina. Just fun fact. And when we were growing up, I don't know much about football, but he loves the Carolina Panthers. That's his team, and he will die for the Carolina Panthers. He is loyal through thick and thin, and I know they had a good run, like maybe in the early 2000s, but right now they're not known to be a great team in the NFL. What advice would you give to Carolina Panthers fans, or just like what is your perspective from a
Oh
sports
man.
guru? Just
I'm
for
in
fun.
this region, so you know the team owner, the owner of that team was a minority owner of my favorite team. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Okay.
Dave Tepper ended up buying the Carolina Panthers. He was a minority owner, and that's kind of where you saw that like the dip started to happen, and people are like, "Yo, Dave, man, you got to take a step back. What are you doing? Just stay out of press." And he has this year. And the Carolina Panthers are actually a pretty decent team this year. They're playing for their playoffs, I believe, here on Sunday tomorrow. So it's stay with the course. If you're a fan, don't give up on your team ever. You drafted high, you drafted well. You know that you have the products there on the field. You can get there. The potential's there. Look, man, my Steelers are about to not make the playoffs. They probably are, so I can't say much. I gotta watch what I say here. So,
Okay.
but no, no, they have a really good fan base. For an expansion team that came in late, right? They weren't one of the original teams. They came in. Their fan base is there and they're passionate. I'm actually in that region of North Carolina, and it goes from one side of the state to the other. Guarantee that the Panther fans are there. I know people that will make like a 4 hour drive and then the 4 hour drive back, after the game. So they definitely have the fans. One week you could see it, there's no fans, the next they're there. You know what I mean? Give them a reason to play, give the fans a reason to show up, and they'll definitely show up.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, man, that's basically all I have. And again, thank you so much for doing this with
Yeah, I
me. I
appreciate it.
really,
Thank you.
really appreciate it. This was awesome. And yeah.